This episode was recorded in front of a live stream audience. Join me at gaming.youtube.com/The Jessa Channel. Hey there. You're watching The Jessa Channel live on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and we are playing part 2 of A Case of Distrust. This day just before release. Today is February 7th, and the game releases tomorrow, February 8th, on Steam. And Ben is no longer with us in chat because he's a busy man who has to release a game tomorrow. However, we're going to continue on with the story because I'm really looking forward to there being a murder. I want somebody to get offed so that we can solve the crime. We'll see if anybody volunteers. So, Chad is with me now, and we are going to be heading back into the world of 1924 San Francisco. Let's resume with A Case of Distrust. So, did you see how it looks like a film? Isn't that cool that the different transitions? Bye, Victoria. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, so we have some places that we can go. Let's take a look at our notes, okay? We could follow Green's lead to Redstone Stable, the bootlegger who we thought sent him the very letter that started this case. And we could try the Tin Spoon, the speakeasy, owned by Green's business partner, Tiny Paul, where his wife also worked as a torcher. Now remember, a torch singer is what that means. Remember that we're playing Malone as a lesbian, so that she has got a big kind of crush going on Mrs. Green. So we might want to go there. Or we could visit Green's wife at their home. So, I'm going to leave it up to you. What do you guys think we should do? Redstone Stable, and talk to the bootlegger, the Tin Spoon, and go to a speakeasy, or visit Green's wife at home, and if we're lucky, we'll get lucky. Okay, Joe says the Tin Spoon. And you'll remember here that these are our goals here. This is the current evidence that we've stacked up here at the Southern Coffee, and these are statements that we can use to trap our killer. Okay, so everybody is saying this. Hello, Sharky. Welcome. Have you been here for a while? If you have, welcome to the Jessa Channel. Oh, so, Kirian, you've been outvoted. Yeah, he typed that just as I said that. Okay, so let's go to the Tin Spoon, the speakeasy. The Tin Spoon Lounge was a speaky, isn't that cool? In North Beach, run by Tiny Paul, the gangster that Green had put in with. I'd never been there before. The mob keeps a tight lip on their own houses, but I figured it would be a good place to chase Green's bootlegging story. Let's hail a taxi. Yo, taxi! Maybe they don't say yo, taxi in 1924. Probably not. And we can talk to the taxi driver or not. I really like talking to the taxi driver, so let's do that. It's a great way to get some extra background in the game. I hailed a driver, gave him the address, and stepped through the back door. I debated talking with the driver. He began talking about his home state of Colorado. By the way, that is, I believe, where Ben lives right now. Lovely land, he said, truly blessed with clean air and wildfires. So if it's so lovely, I asked him, why'd you leave? The people is mostly... let's try doing a different voice. Well, the people is mostly fine, It's the politics that are rotten, you see. I married an Irish Catholic, and now most folks are backwards on that. But at least out here, they keep it to themselves, you know what I mean? That Klan has seeped into the core of my beautiful state. Ooh, the Ku Klux Klan. Hello, sharpshooter. Welcome. Hello, Romoxie, Abrolins, and hi, Moxie. Welcome, you guys. Take a seat. We are playing a murder mystery in 1924 San Francisco called A Case of Distrust. And I am doing the voices. Right now, we are in a taxi cab traveling to a speakeasy. But yeah, the Klan was big in 1924. As I'd mentioned, this is a very historically accurate game. Ben Wander has taken a lot of time to make sure that every detail in the game is accurate to the time of 1924. Okay. And now the Klan is starting to think national. They're anti-black, anti-Jew, anti-Catholic, anti-Mason, anti-you name it. We're driving in a taxi, so here, I'll do the taxi again. A day of reckoning is coming with the KKK and our politics. I just hope sanity wins. Everybody smokes in this game. I hope so too, I said. We came to my destination and I stepped out of the taxi cab, tossing a couple of bobs at the driver. I opened the cab door in front of a North Beach warehouse with a wooden sign. The sign's text was too worn for me to decipher any of its English, but a small gray spoon was still visible below the letters. Choose tobacco. That's fun, making pancakes for the kid and playing a mystery case. Pancake mystery. Okay. I rapped my knuckles twice. Okay, let's try that again. I rapped my knuckles twice over the large metal door. A panel just above my head slid sideways to reveal a pair of eyes. The eyes looked me up and down, and then just stared ahead. They were black and held no emotion. The room beyond was dimly lit, and I couldn't see much of their surrounding face. Isn't this cool? We're gonna go into a speakeasy like a mobster bar. It's awesome. Maybe we'll get into a firefight. I cleared my throat. Then a rumbling voice emerged behind the door. Fill full your cups, feel no distress. At all our great thoughts shrinking less. I looked at the eyes, still unmoving. I understood. The doorman wanted a password. I thought I might have something in my notes that could help. So I wonder what happens if we stay silent. I think probably he'll just slam it shut in our face. So we need to find a password. So this is interesting. One of the things that Ben mentioned in the interview that I did with him is that this is, now remember you guys, this is live action. I mean, like real actors film these. When the eyebrows move, that's a real actor. And then he colored it in. So he didn't just draw these, he colored in real film. Ben did. So anyway, let's look in the notes and see if we can find a password. Ben said that this game is based on, it's not about violence, it's about logic. I mean, yeah, there's a dead body, hopefully, but I'm so bloodthirsty. So we can, these goals aren't going to help us. This guy isn't going to care. I want to say something like the Black Hand or something, but I don't know what we could use as a speaky. You know, we might not have the password yet. We might have to get it from Green's wife. That makes sense to me. Like, why would we have it if we've never been here before? But let's try this. This is probably gonna get us killed, but what the heck? I don't know what that is, but it ain't the password, came the response. The small window shut with a thud. Oh, yeah. Okay. Prohibition was a joke in San Francisco, and most speakeasies would just let about anyone through the door. but the mob ones weren't as relaxed with their rules. I knew I wouldn't enter until I'd said the correct response. I wonder who I could ask about a speakeasy password. Yeah, I think we need to go... Okay, so Kyrian and Velest are saying that if we tell her that we... Oh wait, no, that's not Kyrian. I mean, that's not Velest. That's Kyrian. That's Kyrian and Kyrian, not Kyrian and Velest. Anyway, Kyrian is saying, let's say we know the singer, so let's try that again. Okay. The password is spoken again, or the passphrase. Fill full your cups. Feel no distress. At all our great thoughts shrinking less, he repeated. He continued his stare. So let's look at notes. So, yeah, let's do this one, the singer at the tin spoon, and say we know her. Nope. No go. It looks like the game is telling us that we're gonna need a password. So let's leave and go to Green's house, because that's where Fanny Green is, and that's where the Love Shack. Hopefully we getting lucky. I said this was family friendly, and I'm totally not making it family friendly at all. I'm just family and the friendly right on out of here. Green's house might contain more clues about his past, or some reason a threatening letter would come his way, and if I got lucky, Mrs. Green would be there to pump with more questions. Let's go here. All right, another taxi talk. Taxi talk time. It's like church talk, church lady talk from Saturday Night Live. It was a smart suggestion, Kyrian. You know, Goth, the game is family friendly. I'm not. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of naughty today. I don't know. What are you gonna do? I stepped into the taxi and rocked into a comfortable position in the back seat. Just imagine PC Malone rocking in the back seat. I thought about starting to chat with the driver. Absolutely, we're gonna do that. I started some idle banter with the young driver. You're my last ride for the day. After that, picking my girl. Hey Ben, I think I know Ben's gonna watch this later. I think that's a typo right there. After that, picking up my girl and heading over to Tightwad Hill for the game. Oh yeah, let's ask about Tightwad Hill. You don't know much about college ball, huh? That new stadium they built for Berkeley last year seats over 70,000, marvel of modern construction. And the team ain't bad either. I forgot to drive. Yeah, I mean, with a game that has 55,000 words, I'm sure we're gonna find a typo here and there. Even though he's been very meticulous. I mean, just gonna slip through. What are you gonna do? That's what patches are for. So this taxi cab is talking about a real stadium, Memorial Stadium, that was built either in 1924 or 23 or 22 or somewhere around there. That's Memorial Stadium, I said. It cost over $1 million to build it. How's it related to any hill? Well, the geniuses built the stadium next to a large mound. Babe, now why would I pay good money to get into the place when I can watch the whole game just fine from that hill? Seems others think that way too. So many of us, they dubbed it Tightwad Hill. Isn't that funny? The girls don't mind being outside? You kidding me? The flappers love it up there We can picnic and drink some gin without being cramped into wood benches. Suits both of us just fine. Well, I hope the home team takes it, I said, as we stopped in front of my destination. He grinned. Don't matter. Don't matter. Sorry, he grinned. Don't matter. It'll be a riot anyway. I thanked him and stepped out. All right, so we are in front of a beautiful little brownstone. The Greens, well, maybe it's not beautiful. We're about to find out. The Greens' apartment was a section of an old Western edition mansion. The owners had divided it for struggling families to rent after the 1906 fire. Once downtown had been rebuilt, people of means moved out of the area. Recent immigrants, mainly from Japan, rented most of the apartments in this part of town. See, he did a really good job with all the sound effects and stuff. I knocked on the front door, but didn't get a response. The latch was undone, so I pushed it open and stepped into the room. I love this scene right here. The apartment had a dense cloud. The room reeked of laudanum. I vaguely remember what is laudanum again? Does anybody know? I've heard of it before in a novel, but yeah. So while I'm waiting for a response, some more fun facts about this game. Ben Wander used a lot of different references for his game, including many different trips to San Francisco, where he used to live, but he went back. He moved during the development of the game, but went back and, oh, it puts you to sleep. It's a sedative. Oh, thank you, Morgwin. Okay. So, he, trekked around San Francisco and that kind of stuff. So, and I mean, he really did everything that he could to make things historically true and accurate. The apartment had a dense cloud. The room reeked of laudanum. So I think that PC Malone has a good nose and would notice that right away. So, oh my God, I hope she's not dead. That would suck. Okay. The room reeked of laudanum. Based on the smell, I imagine she'd had enough opium to knock out a horse. Oh dear. Well, first of all, let's click on her and find out if she's out of it. Oh, okay. So Adana is saying that it was a drug. It was used to help with pain, but it's highly addictive. Okay, got it. You guys are a wealth of information. Thank you so much. Okay, she's not dead, thank goodness. I found Mrs. Green slumped in her chair, eyes closed, head rocking slowly. Hello, Mrs. Green, I said loudly. I tried to smack her a little bit. She let out a long moan from the chair, then lifted her head but failed to raise her eyelids. She tilted her head back to the side, giggled, and then let it lull into place. I shook her lightly and she moaned again but said nothing more. I walked on over to the liquor cabinet, or liquor table as it were. The bottles on top of the round table were mostly empty. Ah, but here's a bottle down here. Maybe we can use that to kind of, I don't know, give her some water or something. Empty bottles were strewn around the apartment. I brought one to my nose and smelled the distinct aroma of laudanum. Opium. Oh, the game tells you. Opium mixed with booze. A harsh tonic. Okay, so we're going to have to find some way to wake her up. Let's first of all look at... And for those of you guys coming in earlier on, when Ben was in chat, I said, hey, Ben, is there like some key that you can press that shows you all the things you can click on? And he said, no, you have to search around, like a detective. Seriously made me laugh. He's like, no, you lazy gamer. You gotta actually click on stuff. And I'm like, you gotta click on stuff, huh? The gray trench coat was hanging in the doorway. It certainly looked identical to Lewis's. I searched the pockets and found no identifying marks. It might have been a different jacket, but its recent appearance was off-putting. So, yeah, this is the jacket that looks like our Uncle Lewis, who was in the police force. See you soon, Goth. Come back with your dinner, okay? All right, let's see what else there is. There's a chair back here. I opened the drawer of the backmost table. In it were 2 train tickets. I mumbled, St. Louis, to myself, and then came the cackling voice of Mrs. Green. Ha! Forgot about moving, Connor. I won't budge. I don't understand that line. Ha! Forgot about moving Connor. I won't budge. Maybe she's not making sense because she's drugged. Her head was raised, but her eyelids still remained closed. Let's ask her about these tickets. I asked her further questions, but her head just lolled back to where it had been. There was nothing else she'd say. Okay, so we have found 2 train tickets here. The ashtray on top of the smallest table was overflowing with spent cigarettes. So I'm getting a real vibe about this space. It's just, you know, let's see if we can open a window. Well, the game won't allow us to, but my imagination will. So Malone stomps over to the window. And with a little bit of grunt, it's a bit dried and rusty and caked, like they never opened a window in this place, which they probably didn't. She pulls open the window and breathes in a couple of gulps of fresh air. Okay, so we can't call anybody on the phone, and we can click on a dead plant. A wilting plant was on the furthest table from the door. I could never keep plants alive either. I can't either. I have a brown thumb, literally and figuratively. Even as the petals fell, they were still a vibrant yellow. Okay, so now we're kind of stuck. I can't like give her any liquor. I can't wake her. So what do you guys suggest we do? I think we might have to go to the next location. I think. Because Mrs. Green is out of it. I'm wondering if there's anything in there that gave us a tip as to what the... Tickets to St. Louis. So if you want to remember what each thing is, you can just kind of click on it. There you go. And the case summary. So it's saying here in the case summary that, yeah, we should go to the next place. Okay. So it's saying here that I doubted Mrs. Green would be much of a talker for the most of the day. So let's go to the Redstone Stables. It doesn't look like Mrs. Green is going to be giving us any information today. Okay. The frame was just warped enough to prevent the front door from completely closing. Okay, so let's go. We can go to Stables Barbershop. I don't know. Yep, that's where the Green. Oh, okay. I thought Redstone Stable was like a place for horses, but it's a person's name. Okay, got it. And he owns a barbershop. That's cool. Green had suspected Redstone Stable of sending him that letter. Apparently, actually, I lost my voice. Let's try it again. Green had suspected Redstone Stable of sending him that letter. Apparently, Stable owned a barbershop in the financial district. I figured there'd be no harm in asking Stable about it directly. So let's see if there's any harm in asking Stable about it. And let's also talk to the taxi man. I stepped into the taxi and rocked into it. Yep. So there we go. He made some idle banter. He was a jovial, middle-aged man, joking and laughing often. The conversation turned to my profession. A working girl, he said, and his mean Not sure what that word means. M-E-I-N, his mean hardened slightly. And such a dangerous gig. I told him it wasn't as bad as he probably thought. Well, I'm a bit old-fashioned when it comes to these things. To me, motherhood is the most saintly work. I'm sad many flappers are turning it away. I heartily disagreed with him, shaking my head. I'm sure being a mother isn't easy, he said, but any woman should have the right to choose her work. And there's no reason she can't do both. He tisked a couple of times and said, "What for? I have a niece thinks the same as you. Problem is, a working girl has half what a husband gets, and she won't ever go as far. Mrs. President, not in 100 years. And then the poor girl comes home drained as the last drop of whiskey. Now she's too tired. Who's left to cook or clean for the children?" Why have kids? Oh, yep, definitely. It might be a typo. Okay. So Adana says, mean, a person's look or manner, especially one of a particular kind, indicating their character or mood. Thank you, Adana. Okay, so PC Malone is definitely not interested in having any little doe-eyed, ringlet curled babies running around. She doesn't want kids at all. Not got time for that, not got the life for it. Why have kids? I prodded. Why have kids at all? Well now, without a family, who takes the reins for the next generation? Are we giving it up to the Red Menace? It seems to me we're trading our values to buy a new roadster. I'd hate to see what the youngins after us do. Might burn the entire world down. We pulled up to my destination. I nodded curtly and left the taxi cab. Joe, I didn't quite understand that sentence. The barbershop was down. Oh, okay. The barbershop was down an alley in the financial district, opposite the red brick National Bank. The small bell above the door tinkled as I walked in. All right, so this is the barbershop, and this must be the man in question. I love the colors. Look at this screen. This game is major beautiful. Wow. Okay, coat rack. Hat rack. The hat rack was a deep mahogany, engraved with gold lettering that read, Fraser and Company Furnishings. I wouldn't be surprised if Fraser and Company was a real place that existed in 1924. I would not put that past Ben. Don't put that in there. The details in this game. The maroon leather chair looked comfortable. It seemed elaborate for a barbershop waiting chair. The modern hydraulic barber chair had always seemed ostentatious to me, but this one, with its soft brown cushions and gold embroidery, was the most ornate I'd ever seen. Okay, oh yeah, the barbershop pole. Let's click on the barbershop pole. Two sides of the mirror's frame were... It looked like a barbershop pole, all right? It looked like two of them. Like, okay. Ben, stop laughing. I can just practically hear you laughing at me. The two sides of the mirror's frame were cylindrical, painted blue, red, and white to look like barber's poles. They clashed with otherwise elegant furnishings. That's pretty cool, though. Oh, and what's this? Hi Hi, Goth. Welcome back. The frame on the back wall contained a yellowed photograph of an old man. He had an authentic smile and held scissors in his left hand. Oh, maybe that's his grandpa or something. We can ask about him. And then... Can we just go over here and rifle? Like, are these drawers or something? That'd be cool. Oh, Stable's cabinet was similar to my own, but where mine was a dull gray metal, his was a deep red wood that looked heavy. Okay, so Stable makes money. He's got bank. That's what I'm hearing here. So let's click on him. There was a tall man in the center of the room. He was wearing a flamboyant pink suit, tailored to accentuate his stature, with a maroon bow tie and pocket square. I gathered this was Redstone Stable. Not who I was expecting at all. Not who I was expecting. A pink suit. Okay, let's talk. Wow. So remember, this is an actor that he made this, who worked out this part. I mean, who dressed like this. Hello, left-hand cracker. Hello, left-hand crafter. Yeah, Joe, it's totally unexpected. This guy, I thought it was gonna be like some sort of bruiser guy or something like that. The man turned to face me. He grinned, and his squinting blue eyes made the smile feel genuine. I must apologize, he said, but we do not take walk-ins. Malone is always going to study the face. It's kind of a way I think that she puts people off their guard by studying their face carefully, and they wonder what she's up to. I studied his face. That's cool. The wrinkles around his eyes indicated he was at least 40, but the rest of his skin was clean and smooth. He wore no hat and shaved his head completely bald. When combined with his smooth skin, it hinted at the look of a small turtle. His pink suit and maroon accessories only added to his eccentricity. He smiled and said, "How foolish of me. Of course, you are here for information, Miss Malone." How did he know our name? Yeah, I don't know, Joe. It's unclear. So what do you guys think we should pick here? I'm thinking with how I'm playing Malone that she'd probably just go for a drink, because I basically think she's an alcoholic. I'm going to take a moment and wet the old throat, as it were. Enjoy the music. You think I should do number 2? Joe is voting for drinks. Sharky is voting. Hi, Sharky. So Sharky is voting for number 1, and I'm going to actually go for that because Sharky doesn't speak much in chat, so when he or she does, I'm always happy to see it, so I'm going to choose this one. Although I note that you voted for number 2, Goth. Crafter, by the way, how are you? Let me know how you are. Okay, so how about a drink? Oh, you voted 2 first? Okay. Well, how about a drink, I asked, to get us started right. Stable's eyes lit up and he laughed. You're completely unlike other sleuths. He poured me a whiskey and handed it to me. As I gulped it, he asked me why I was there, with genuine curiosity in his voice. All right, so let's bring up the notes. I love the teeth on the... So good. This game is so good, man. Okay, so why are we there? We are there because Connor Green suspects him. And, yep, so this looks like the most obvious choice. Now, for fun, you can click other things, like, for example, you can ask him about Mrs. Green. So let's just do that, just so we can get a little bit more story. Because, Ben took so much time to put so much text in here for us to immerse ourselves in the world, so, you know. Oh, I'm glad you're here too. And, I hope your move went okay, Crafter. Okay, so let's, ask about the note. I showed him something in my notes, but I got no good information from our exchange. And for those of you guys watching on YouTube as well, you should note that I need to take a Halls because my throat is bothering me. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. You can actually antagonize suspects to the point where they won't talk to you unless they pretty much have to. So you can play the game and play your character as a nice guy or kind of a bruiser like we're playing our character, or nice woman, I should say. And so, you know, there's different ways. The story, the ending is going to always be the same, but there's different ways that you can play your character throughout the story, just by how you choose things. So. Joe's giving a little recap. Okay, so that didn't really do anything. So let's let's go for I want to pick one more thing. I want to ask him how. Let's ask him about how he knew my name. That's cool that you can bring that up afterwards. That's so smart. This game is really well designed. How'd you know my name? I questioned. He smiled again. He apparently liked smiling when he was pleased with himself. Barbers hear gossip. Barbers hear gossip from around town, Miss Malone. Sometimes that gossip is worth remembering. And what gossip had you heard about me? I asked. Just that the niece of the late San Francisco detective Lois Malone had resigned from her policewoman duties and started a private detection agency. That was months ago, was it not? I confess, I haven't heard much since. I wonder if he knew Lewis, our uncle, the man who got us our first job in the San Francisco Police Department as the first policewoman ever. You know, Crafter is saying that she always goes for being the nice person in games, and I usually do too, as well, you know. But I don't know. I kind of like playing it like a hard-boiled detective this time around. We're not going to be really mean, but we're just kind of crusty. I asked if he'd known my Uncle Lewis. Not well enough, he said. Oh, not well enough, he said. I hear he did his job by the letter of the law, but I lost that alphabet years ago. He winks. Well, Miss Malone, he smiled, will there be anything else? Yeah, can I get a haircut? And a shave? Do you shave legs? I look like the Sasquatch monster. Can you do a shoe shine and a leg shave? So yeah, let's just get down to the nitty gritty of it now and ask about Connor Green. Connor Green maybe goes in there for a shave every once in a while. Green suspected, I'm glad you liked that, Sharky. Green suspected Redstone Stable, another bootlegger who ran a barbershop during the day. Note that he runs a barbershop during the day. So I'm really curious to find out what he does in the evenings. I love that you have a chance to pick between good or bad. Most games just have the good girl or guy aspect. Yep. Yep. Listen here. Green claims that you bootleg, I stated bluntly. His grin didn't waver in his response. Would you hang me on Connor Green's claims? I may partake in some gambling, and I may just have a talent for it, Malone. But it is nothing illegal, I assure you. And you know nothing about Green's own bootlegging? I asked. Stables shook his head. I doubted he would ever answer a question straight. Well, Miss Malone, will there be anything else? Yeah, there will be something else. Let's ask about this gambling. What do you mean? Claims he doesn't bootleg. Yeah, I want to know if we can find out any more about this wealth. I nodded to his furniture. So, Stable, these are pretty elegant trappings for a barber. You know, math was never my strong subject, but I can't see a barber making enough for all of this. He smiled. Yes, I have other methods of procuring wealth, but I do not engage in illicit activities, if that's your implication. Well, Miss Malone, will there be anything else besides a leg shave? So we can ask him about goals too. You can ask him about anything in this book, which is so cool. I didn't know that you could ask about goals when I did the first playthrough. So let's see if he knows anything about Green's past. So what do you know about Green's past? I questioned. Only that he has constantly skirted the law. I nodded. Okay, so that didn't give us much, but what do you guys think we should ask him anything? Let me know what you think we should ask. If there's anything you can see in here. Let's show him this letter that Green showed us and see if he recognizes it. I pulled Green's note from my pocket and showed him, but didn't let him hold on to it. Green tells me this letter is from you, I told him. He doesn't like threats. Stable lowered his head to study the note, then chuckled. His knowing grin returned to his face. But this is a black hand letter, he said, flourishing a hand towards the paper. Oh, let's try that again. I'm sorry. Stable lowered his head to study the note, then chuckled. His knowing grin returned to his face. But this is a black hand letter, he said, flourishing the hand towards the paper. Have you ever seen a black hand letter, Miss Malone? Yeah, I confessed I hadn't. Exactly. You should ring your friend Shipman at the station and ask what it means. Yay, new lead! Sam Shipman had been one of my uncle's regular partners in the Vice rackets. Okay, so Sam Shipman's a detective in the Vice squad, or whatever you call it back then. I wondered what Shipman could have to do with Green's case. Stable seemed to think he had a lot to do with it. Interesting. I pocketed the letter and continued with my questions, but I made a note to stop by the police headquarters and see Shipman. All right, cool. So we're going to do that. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that I should ask him? Maybe he goes to the Tin Spoon and Gamble's there, so maybe he might know the password. Try one more time, Joe. I don't know the game you're talking about. Where we visited the prison? Oh, I remember that game. We played that several years ago. I liked that game. It was pretty good. I don't remember the name of it. Obviously, it wasn't memorable enough for me to remember the name of it, but I remember the game. Does anybody remember? It's a playlist we did maybe 2 years ago. We played a gangster's girl. It was an adventure game. It was a good game. Anyway, let's ask him if he knows about Little Fanny. Okay, so no. Got it, Joe. All right, so I think this is all we can get out of him right now. So let's go on out and we're still looking for the password to get into the speakeasy. So, oh, well, actually, let's just ask him. Does he know the password? Not that he'd give it to us probably, but whatever. Evidence. Southern Coffee, Stables Barbershop. Ah, password. Let's see if he knows the password to the tin spoon. Yeah, he doesn't. Okay. Yeah, I can't think what it's called too. But yeah, it was fun. This channel, we really like mystery games and role-play games on this channel. That's mainly what we play. Our family-friendly, you know, kind of... You know, Goth, I'd love to tell you if I could remember the name. Family-friendly type games like that. By the way, check in chat and let me know how you guys are enjoying the game. There's a goodly number of you here just hanging out and watching, and I'm so happy to be with all of you guys. I love, love, love live streaming. I love it. Okay, so, I don't think... Yeah. I'm trying, Joe. Joe's like, family friendly. Right. Oh, thank you, Mothering. Mothering says she loves the voice that I'm using, and Adana likes it. No, Goth, it's about a gangster's girl. Gangster's girlfriend. And the gangster's in prison, and we somehow break him out, if I recall. And it was also done around this time frame. I think actually it was done in the 1940s. That was set in the 1940s. But, you know, I really love playing mystery games. And if mystery games set like in the 40s, the 30s, 20s, you know, even The Last Express, 1914, historical, I love that kind of stuff. I eat it up. Okay, so anyway, let's go. I think it's time to leave here and go to the... Okay, that's all we can do. So, that's nothing, nothing now, I said, and turned back to the barbershop. Okay, so, that's all we're gonna get out of our friendly neighborhood barber. Yeah, I thought you guys would really... I told Ben when I asked him for the interview, I said, my audience is going to love this because this is right up our alley. Just the type of stuff that we like. The one game that we like that you guys, some of you guys have come to like that is not generally what we play was XCOM, but that's because a lot of people didn't realize that you could role play in it. And once people realized that you guys realized that, more of you started to play and we're talking about it with me on Discord and stuff. So... Okay, let's head on out into the street. The front door had a bell on top of it. Isn't that a neat touch? Like, he could just have us open the door and leave. But the fact that he tells you what's on each door, I don't know, I just love that. This game is awesome. This game is slowly moving up in my favorites as we play it. But unfortunately, we still haven't found a dead body yet. I'm gonna be really mad if I don't find a dead body. Look at this is my pissed off face. Like, if there's not a dead body coming up pretty soon, I'm gonna be mad. Look. Yeah, he'll have it on sale, Thomas. So it's gonna be, the game is $14.95 in case you're wondering, and I don't know what he's gonna have it on sale for tomorrow. But yeah. And I thought about buying a key to do a giveaway because of the support of patrons from Team Jessa patrons, which some of you guys are Team Jessa patrons over on Patreon. Can you throw that link in, Josie? But anyway, yeah. So I was thinking about that, but I really need to save all of the money that comes in because I'm saving up to get us a new computer for the channel. That's it. It was the Alcatraz one. It was 1954 Alcatraz. That's it. Or maybe it was, yeah, I think it was 1954 Alcatraz. Thank you. Okay, let's head to the police station. I always dreaded visiting the PD after I'd flown the coop. I was in no mood right now. But if Shipman did not know something about Green's note, I had to chase it up. All right, so we're going to go here. Hail a taxi. And we're going to talk, as always, to the taxi cab man. Some weather, ain't it? It's San Francisco, I shrugged and replied. Expect fog and bring a jacket. Wish I'd known that coming from Missouri. Maybe would have stayed on the river. There's always recent transplants. There were always recent transplants to the city. Why'd you come here? I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna ask about Missouri. Just, you know, thank you, Joe. Just out of curiosity, and I'm just curious to see what the taxi driver has to say. And we'll say that maybe Lewis, her uncle, Malone's uncle, went on a with her uncle on a trip once to Missouri. So anyway, her Uncle Lewis. Where in Missouri are you from? I visited those parts, I asked. A little town called Hannibal. Same place as Mark Twain, though by the time I was born, he'd moved to bigger parts of the country. But you know, I recently heard a quote of his. How'd it go? How'd it go? How'd it go? Oh. The coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. That's a pretty good one. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We talked for a while about his youth, his bucolic hometown, and the crack of the summertime thunderstorms, and his adventures down in the Mississippi River. I told him about that time that Uncle Lewis and I went to that swimming hole, and he told me that there was a croc about to sneak up on me, and I dived out of that hole so fast, and he laughed and rolled around on the ground. Lewis was always a kidder. Okay. Yeah, it's two links, Joe. You can see that it's two links mixed in. So it's a broken link. Try it again. It's not you, Aussie. That link is messed up. I can see it. If you look at the link, you can see there that it says Patreon, and then there's a half, and then Patreon is cut off. Do you see that? There, that's the correct link. You got it now. Okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, okay. So swimming hole, alligator. Eventually we rolled to my destination, but before leaving I asked, did Mark Twain really say that about San Francisco? The driver smiled and shook his head. Nope. But if I tell you I did, at least you'll remember a quote that's mine. So, I think that might be true, that is an incorrect quote that is actually attributed to Mark Twain. So there's another little fact for you. Because it is regularly said that Mark Twain said that quote, but I think it is true that he did not actually say it. It's misattributed to him. All right, so here we are pulling up in front of the San Francisco Police Department, the North Beach Station headquarters, also poetically baptized the Hall of Justice. The Hall of Justice is a building that doesn't exist anymore. I burned down, I'm not sure. Anyway, you can see a picture of the original building in the interview that I did with Ben Wander, which is on the channel right now. There will be a link to that interview, by the way, in the description below. The building dominated the corner of Kearny and Washington in Chinatown. That was what was its real location. Rebuilt after the 1906 earthquake, I thought it looked even more sour than it had before. So they rebuilt it, but then that building also has been torn down, and there's a new building. I think the Hall of Justice, which was the real name of it, sounds like a superhero building. It's like you expect Spider-Man to come flying out of there, some Superman or something. There's a typist there. There's a reception hall. I strode to the young bobbed girl behind the large oak desk. She must have been new because we shared no recognition of one another. I asked for Shipman, and she motioned me to a chair as she pressed a pearl button. I sat down, and she disappeared through a frosted door. I rolled another cigarette to pass the time. This is when you could smoke inside, no problem. They give you an ashtray and pat you on the back. Okay, I'm going to click on this because I want to see if PC Malone, that'd be cool if we could make her that she can do smoke rings and stuff. Between puffs, I thought about the shape of my smoke plumes, letting my mind wander through the abstraction. Whenever a thought about the department found its way into my head, I closed my eyes and drifted back into meditation. So yeah, I'm definitely playing Malone as someone who does not like to think about her emotions. Definitely closed off. Most of the San Francisco Police Department refused to give any thought to a female private detective. I was determined to return their courtesy. It wasn't long before Shipman walked out of the frosted door. All right, here's Shipman. So we're going to finish this scene, and then we're going to end the live stream. And we will finish this game next week, because I'd like to give you guys a chance to go and buy it and tell me how whether you played the game. But also, you know, as you can see, even if you play the game, unless you pick the exact same things I pick, you're going to have a different experience and see different things than we're going to see in this live stream. So that's another reason too, besides supporting Ben Wander and indie developers and people who make freaking incredible, gorgeous games like this. Another reason to buy the game is that you'll get a different experience than I will. Okay. I think Samuel really likes us. So, Samuel smiled when he saw me. He'd always been helpful because I don't think she'd pay too much attention to him being tall or tanned. He'd always been helpful to me in my days on the force. Working closely with Lewis, he'd acquired the habit of bouncing theories my way. He judged officers purely on results, and because of that, he was one of my very few fans. So that's good that he's not judging her because she's a woman, the first woman in the force, or was. We exchanged brief pleasantries before he said, "Wouldn't come here for glad handing." Glad handing, does that just mean like chatting or something? I don't know. That's a period phrase from the 20s that I don't know. He had a habit of removing the subject from his sentences. So let's see if I can find his voice. Wouldn't come here for glad handing. Let's see. Wouldn't come here for glad handing. Let's make him kind of British. What the heck? We'll make him British. Wouldn't come here for glad handing. What needs doing? He's a transplant. I explained my case to him. He scoffed when I mentioned Connor Green. Working for that pinhead? Got a good mind to run him up a flagpole. I just need to know about this letter. I handed him the note Green had given me and explained its contents. Context. He looks over the note. Shipman tried to stifle a laugh. Complete bunk. See the symbol in the corner? Mark of the Black Hand Gang. Except the Black Hand letters are always ransom letters, no threats. No foothold in this coast anyhow. Never been one in California. I like his voice. Yay. So, the letters are fake? Yeah. Someone trying to imitate the Black Hand. That didn't sound right. Someone trying to imitate the Black Hand. There we go. I grunted a sigh and noted what he'd said. So the whole letters are fake. Crafter, are you laughing at my goofy accent? I don't blame you if you are. Don't know if green is getting one over on you. Don't know if green... Sorry, guys. Oh, let's see. Don't know if green is getting one over on you, he said, or if someone else is pulling green's leg. But you'll have more dirt on the man. But having more dirt on the man couldn't hurt, especially if he's your client. I agreed. I've been trying to dig through his past. You got any bunk on him? Josie says that glad handing means being very friendly to people you have not met before as a way of trying to get an advantage. She's so good. When we read Sherlock Holmes novels, sometimes we'll do chill streams where I'll just read a Sherlock Holmes story. All the words we don't know, she'll go and look them up. Joe, you're awesome. If I told you you're awesome yet today, I haven't. Oh, good. You're awesome. I agree with you, Goth. Okay, so... I agreed. I've been trying to dig through his past. You got any bunk on him? Shipman shook his head. No, from Oakland is all I know. But I can do some more digging. I thanked him for that. Under a pile of vice, though. Oh, under a pile of vice, though. Might take me a while. Why don't I telephone you when I find something? I had no office where I could receive messages, but I dreaded returning to the station. I just told him to call Southern Coffee. Just leave anything with Franklin Conway, I instructed. He said that was all right. We traded our goodbyes, and I went back to the station entrance. All right, so we found out that the letter Connor Green gave us was a fake. Did Connor Green fake it? Or what? Now I knew the letter was a fake, and Shipman was looking into Green's past for me. I just needed to chase up the bootlegging lead. I stepped into the street and thought about where to go. All right, so I'm going to press the escape key, which is how you get back to the main menu. I love that film. Look, that's so cool. And I am going to say to you on YouTube that I am so glad you joined me for the second episode of A Case of Distrust. I will be putting out more episodes on this series, and we will be playing this game in a live stream next week. Today is February 7th, a Tuesday, so we'll play again next week, the 14th or 13th, somewhere around there. If you'd like to know when I'm live streaming, you can check out my live stream calendar. There's a link in the description below. But let me know what you think of A Case of Distrust. If you are deciding to go out and buy a copy, also let me know as well too. And many gracious thanks again to Ben Wander, and also to oh goodness, I just momentarily forgot. Oh Lord, I forgot. But anyway, to Ben Wander for giving me a key to the game, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate him being in chat today. And please also support indie developers. And if you like this content, if you like this series, hit the thumbs up button below. And if you loved it, join the party and subscribe. I'll see you back here, as always. Thank you so much for watching.